So, to get your orange juice flowing, throw it on the floor. Hi guys, video number 2. So it's a cold, wet, horrible, miserable day outside. Excuse me. So what better thing to do than make something nice and warm and cosy and comforting. So I had a request on my Facebook page, which is Fellows Fancies, for anybody that's interested, to make some Jaffa cupcakes. So I've had a bit of a troll around the internet and I've found a few different recipes that I'm going to combine, and hopefully it'll make something lovely at the end. So just to make the sponge mix, this is slightly different to the way I normally make sponge, which is a Victoria sandwich recipe, equal amounts of everything. This is slightly different, so we'll see how it works. So, to my big empty mixing bowl, I'm going to add 110 grams of butter, and I'm going to mix that together with 110 grams of caster sugar. So again, I've got no equipment whatsoever here, apart from a spoon, some elbow grease and a big bowl. So I'm using margarine. I would normally use real butter, but stupidly I bought some but forgot to take it out of the fridge, so it's rock hard and there's no way I could do that by hand. I also don't have a microwave, so I can't melt it. So I'm going to cream my butter and my sugar just with a spoon, the good old fashioned way. So I know at the minute in the UK the Great British Bake Off is happening. I still haven't seen any of it, which is the one thing I'm gutted about living in New Zealand. But I'm sure my lovely hubby Paddy will be able to hook me up somehow. So I'm just sorting all this out. To this I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. You can add this at any time. I like to add it while I'm mixing in my sugar. I'll get measuring spoons and then it might be a little bit more accurate. So that's just a teaspoon of vanilla essence. Again, if I was at home, I would be using vanilla bean paste because it's way nicer, you get a much stronger flavour. But out here, I'm just accustoming, if that's a word, myself with the local ingredients. So all of this is Pam's, which is available at all of the supermarkets. Seems to be like budget brands out there, Pam's. So we're getting there, getting a bit fluffy now. I might even get in with a whisk and just get a little bit more beaten. I just don't need too much going now. I am going to get a whisk in for the next part though, which is to add 2 eggs. I don't know how many this will make, because I've got 12 cupcake cases, so hopefully it'll fill them, but we will see. They are fairly big. So to this mix, to make the cupcake bit itself, we're going to add marmalade into the middle of the sandwich. So I'm going to do a spoonful of mixture, marmalade, and then another spoonful of mixture when I cook it. Right, I'm going to add to this mix, messy fingers, and 2 eggs. Eggs come in sizes over here. At home we just get large, small and medium. These come in like 6 and 7 and 8 and weird other things. I have no idea what any of it means. These just look like medium eggs to me. There's 1. There's 2. I'm going to beat that up. Got a dodgy bin lid that won't stay closed, it's bugging me. Right, let's beat that up. I mean, you could chuck all this in one go if you've got a stand mixer, it's much easier. But when you're doing it by hand, it's just a bit better to mix it all in separately, and then it always looks like it's going to curdle, but once you've got something in, it's fine. Right, so to that I'm going to add, this is a bit where it's different from a normal sponge mix, 175 grams of self-raising flour. Obviously it needs to stand up a little bit because you've got to put filling in the middle. So it's quite a thick mix. It's a very thick mix. It's a very, very, very thick mix. Beat the pants out of it. I'm guessing this is done on purpose so that you can get the middle bit in. If it was a really runny mixture, you wouldn't be able to layer it. Right, I'm just going to attack that with a whisk since I can't actually get much volume out of a spoon. Oh, this is a deep spoon. Fingers. They are clean. I've washed my hands about 20 times. But it wouldn't be me if I didn't have a bit of a taste. I am going to lick that spoon. No apologies there. Right. Oh, bit of a rubbish whisk. It's plastic. It just goes. Okay, that was a bit pointless. With a plastic whisk. So the one thing I need to invest in, I think, very soon, is a hand mixer, which is about $15. I know at home you can pick them up in Tesco and Asda for about 7 or 8 quid. So they're not an expensive piece of kit. But before I make any more mess, we'll get rid of that. Right. So, to make your cupcakes stand up, basically, not flop and look ridiculous and pour all over, I would highly recommend investing in an actual muffin tray. It just gives you a nice deep cup. So I've got some lovely cupcake cases to line these with. No idea if these will be ones that spew oil everywhere. Some of them you buy. You get your cupcakes out of your case at the end and they're like really wet and horrible. We'll see what these ones are like. So I'm going to aim for 12. I don't know if I'll get there. 2 different colours, so why not use them both? And then I'm going to put a teaspoon in the middle, in the bottom, followed by a teaspoon of marmalade to get your Jaffa taste, and then I'm going to top them off. Or maybe not by a teaspoon. Right, let's see how this goes. So I'm going to use a dessert spoon in the bottom. Should get enough out of this, I think. Right, so what I'm going to do now is squish them in. So I'm going to use a measuring spoon just because it's round. I'm going to squish it all down. It's all sticking. I maybe need to dampen these. Just get a little bit of water. Baking's all about improvising, or it is for me anyway, so I'm just going to dampen that spoon and then it doesn't get stuck. It'll still stick a little bit, but it's nowhere near as bad. So I'm just spreading them out so that it don't get loads of marmalade in the bottom of my cupcake, which will make it impossible to eat and rather sticky. And then I'm going to spoon in to the middle of those a teaspoon each of marmalade, and then I'm going to top them off with a bit more cake mix. And then what we're going to do after that is make our orange chocolate ganache and an orange chocolate buttercream to go, just an orange buttercream to cut through the darkness of the chocolate. And then I'm going to top each one with an orange chocolate sweet called a Jaffa, which I know you can't get in the UK, but I'm in New Zealand and they're here, so I'm using them anyway. Right, so that's those. And then I'm going to top each one of those with a little blob of marmalade. Can't get in. That's it. We're in. So it says in the recipe to use a rindless marmalade. This isn't quite rindless, it's got bits in, but I'm sure it'll be nice. So I'm using, this is a half tablespoon spoon, it might be a bit much, but hey ho, if it's not worth doing properly, don't do it at all then. I don't really like marmalade, but I will try one of these because I'm intrigued to see what the combo is like. I don't really like Jaffa cakes actually. They're one of Paddy's favourites. Right, so we're nearly there with the marmalade. And then we're going to top it off with a bit more cake mix. And then I'm going to cook them at 180 degrees for probably 20 minutes to start with, and then I'll take them out and have a look. They might need a little bit longer. So let's get topping these off. I know what you can get out of the bowl when you try. Right, I'm going to have to make up an extra egg's worth of mixture because I've actually run out. So if you're going to use this to make 12, maybe don't make them as big as I've made mine. So I've just made an extra egg's worth of mixture, and I'm just going to smooth these off. And then we're going to put them in the oven. So I'm literally just dipping a spoon in some water because it sticks like crazy otherwise. It's been a bit poncy. Right, so they are all done. All the orange marmalade is covered, and I'm now going to put them in the oven and cook them for about 20 to 25 minutes. Right, so my buns are out of the oven, and I have to say I'm quite impressed. Flat topped, looking lovely, smell beautiful, hope they're cooked underneath. And as I guessed, crap papers, so they've gone all greasy. That happens quite regularly. Right, so the first thing I'm going to make for my toppings is my chocolate ganache, because that's going to need to set up in the fridge for a little bit. So, if you watched my last video, link above, for chocolate Afghans, you'll know that I don't have anything to make a double boiler to be able to melt my chocolate. So I'm improvising again with a bowl full of hot water, and I'm going to put another little bowl with my chocolate in on the top. So I need to get that melting, and then what you've got to do is add some cream to that, some finely grated zest of an orange, which I've picked out of my garden, so I'm going to sort that out now. Some unsalted butter, and then orange essence, but I've actually got orange chocolate, so I'm not going to bother. And I haven't got quite 120 grams here, I've got 100 grams, so I'm going to mess about with the ingredients later. So let's zest an orange. With that big mama, that's just come off my tree in the back garden. I love New Zealand. So I'm going to get my grater. I don't think I've got a very fine grate on this, but we'll try and get as fine as we can. I hope you can see what I'm doing. So I need a teaspoon of orange zest. Smells beautiful. These are great big navel oranges off the tree, which I absolutely adore. So if you've not made a ganache before, it's basically chocolate cream, and it turns into kind of like a Nutella consistency. It's beautiful. So we're going to put buttercream and ganache on these cupcakes just to make it extra special, and a bit more Jaffa cake like. So that'll be our chocolate component. I think though, because I'm using 70% cocoa chocolate, it'll be super duper rich. So we're not going to put tons on, just enough for a taste. So you use the zest because it's super duper orangey. You don't really need the flavour of the juice to make it taste like orange. Right, so that's my kettle boiled, so I'm going to put some hot water at the bottom of my dish. I'm just going to balance my bowl of chocolate in the top to melt. And while that's bobbing around in there and getting nice and warm, I'm going to measure out some cream. So the recipe calls for heavy cream, which I couldn't get. Heavy cream is double cream in the UK, but I did manage to get some thickened cream, so I'm going to use this and hope for the best. So it says that I need 3/4 of a cup. I don't think I'll need quite that much because, like I said, I've only got 100 grams of chocolate, not 120. But we'll see how it goes. And this is super duper thick, it's beautiful. And then the other thing that's going to go in this chocolate is a bit of butter, again just to make it nice and thick. This is 3/4 of a cup, so that's half a cup. Wow, this cream's immense, how thick that is. I reckon that's probably about 3/4 of a cup, which gives me lots of cream to eat. Yummy. Balance that on there. Preferred not to. Ah, it's cold. Right. My chocolate's starting to melt. Spoon. Smelling yummy. I did try and get orange essence in the shop, but I couldn't find it. But like I said, this is orange chocolate, so it should be fine anyway. If you're at home and you've got stuff at your disposal, melt your chocolate in the microwave, but do it in 30-second blast because it will burn. Or alternatively, get a glass bowl on top of a pan of rolling boiling water. Don't let it touch, and then it'll just melt really quickly over the top. But I haven't got any of that, so I'm MacGyvering it again. So we're about there with the chocolate, I think it's getting there. Just a couple of big lumps to get rid of. Got to melt that butter in now while that's hot. So it's a tablespoon of butter. Just checking the thing then, yes. It's a tablespoon of unsalted butter into your chocolate, which will make it nice and extra shiny and glossy. That melting while the water's hot. This looks beautiful. I wish I can tilt it and show you. It's all over my hands. Maybe I should have used a bigger bowl in hindsight. It's looking beautiful and glossy. I've just had a thought that I've done this completely wrong. And I've got no more chocolate. Basically, to make a ganache, what you should do is warm your cream and then add your chocolate to your cream and then stir it in that way. We'll see if it works this way. Fingers crossed, I haven't totally cocked it up. That's what happens when you write down the ingredients and not the recipe. Oh well, we'll see. Hopefully I haven't messed this up completely and I won't be sending Paddy to the shop on the way home to get more ingredients for me. Right, so that's nice and melted. There's a couple of little tiny lumps in there, but that should come out when I beat it. I'm going to put that on there. Wipe that off. Add my orange zest, and then I'm going to whip this cream in and hope that I haven't cocked it up. My orange zest. Right, let's go. But because this cream's so thick, I haven't messed it up. Because like I said, it should have been doing the other way. Good if you keep your fingers crossed that this thickens. Oh, this whisk's no good for nothing. It's working, guys, it's working. Lovely, thick ganache, beautiful. So maybe it wasn't the traditional method, but it worked, and that's all that matters. Probably helps that my cream was so thick and so cold, it's straight from the fridge. Yeah. Slight probably. And all my ganache is now stuck inside my whisk. This is the problem when you've got no equipment. This would have been done really easily at home with like, either probably in a stand mixer or with a little hand mixer, but I ain't got one, so. As I keep saying, we're improvising. This looks beautiful now. So actually, even though I said I think I need to set this up, I don't think I do. I think it's probably thick enough to go straight onto the cakes. So now we just need to decide if I do cream first or we do chocolate first and then cream on top. Let's make a buttercream and then we can make the decision of what we're going to do. So next up, we need to make some buttercream. I have in here, which I'm going to use my fingers just to break up a bit because it's really hard and I've got to mix it together. So I've got half a cup of butter, which equates to 113 grams because I checked it instead of trying to squish it into a cup. And add to that I'm going to add 2 cups of icing sugar, a tablespoon of orange zest and a teaspoon of orange zest, and 2 teaspoons of orange juice, which I'm going to make from my fresh oranges from my garden. But obviously you can just use stuff that you bought from the shop if you want to. Right, the only reason I'm doing this is because it makes it easy to whisk, to mix together when you've only got your hands to do it. If I was to do that from a block, it would take me ages. Got another couple of oranges, which I'm going to zest into my butter. This is a thicker zest because of the grated, but it's still nice. And I need a teaspoon of orange juice. So there's a teaspoon of orange zest, probably a bit more. And I need a teaspoon of orange juice, which I'm guessing is probably about half an orange. So to get your orange juice flowing, throw it on the floor. I'm back from a little trip to get your orange flowing. Squish it. That one just totally exploded in my hand, so I've lost half my orange juice to the sideboard, but we'll see how much we can get out of it. Right, so I'm just going to squeeze this orange into here. There's loads of juice coming out of this, it's lovely. So you will only need literally half an orange probably to get enough for a teaspoon. There's absolutely tons of juice just come out of that. Look how beautiful they are. Smell absolutely gorgeous. We have orange juice in here. I have butter and orange zest in here, to which I'm going to add 2 cups of icing sugar. I've used so many of these cups now that I have them in, so this could get messy. So 2 cups of icing sugar. When it comes out of the bag. In your own time, Mr. Icing Sugar. 1. 2. And a teaspoon. Let's give these a quick rinse. With my fresh orange juice. Try not to get any bits in. That seems like very little. I'm going to put a tiny bit extra in. So I'm just going to keep that to one side in case I need to add some more, because it depends on how melty my butter gets as to how much liquid you need to add to buttercream. You can judge it. So buttercream, you always feel like you're adding loads of powdered sugar to, but it goes eventually. You just have to keep stirring. Might be here a while. We'll probably do a jump cut and come back. Right, so that took a while and it took a lot more than 1 teaspoon of orange juice, but I finally got my buttercream workable. You can see I've had to whip the arse out of it and I've added quite a lot of liquid, but you kind of judge for yourself. If you think it's too thick, just add like a teaspoon at a time of orange juice, that's all I've done. It's probably 3 or 4 in there, as opposed to 1 that it says on the recipe. So that's going nicely. So what I'm going to do now is put this and the ganache into piping bags, and then we're going to get creative. So I bought this funky little set from the shop. I'm sure I've seen these in the UK as well, where you get a set of piping bags and a set of piping tubes. Like I said a million times, all of my stuff is in the UK, which is no good. So I've had to kind of make do with what I can get out here. I use metal piping tubes at home. These are plastic, but they'll do the same job. There's a coupler in this, but I'm not going to use it. I'm literally going to cut a hole in the bottom of my bag and stick the piping tube in. I'm using little star tubes just because they look fancy. So I'm going to cut the bottom off. Tiny bit. Open the bag, stick my piping tube inside. Which hopefully, no, I haven't cut enough off, so I need to cut a bit more off so it sticks out the bottom. It's always a fine line between cutting enough off and not enough off. It's just sticking out the bottom. Roll your bag down. And then pop your buttercream in. You can't do this just holding it. The easiest way to do it is over a big glass. Put your piping bag inside the glass and then roll the sides over and you can fill it that way. But I've done this too many times, so I'm just holding it. Another way you could do this, actually, I've just thought, to make it really fancy, is if you wanted to buy either a double dual piping bag, or if you're feeling a bit fancy, you can create buttercream down one side and you ganache down the other, and then pipe in circles, and you'll get like a nice rippled effect with both. So that's our buttercream. Next job is the ganache, which is nice and thick. Smells gorgeous. But so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pipe some of the buttercream and then pipe the chocolate on the top. Because I don't think we need as much chocolate, it's going to be mega rich. Same thing, cut a hole in, open your bag, pop your piping tube in, shut at the bottom, and then fill it with your chocolate ganache, which is going to be a bit messy. So you could do this with milk chocolate if you don't like the bitterness of dark chocolate, but chocolate orange works best with dark chocolate in my opinion. So that's our ganache. Then I'm just going to push it down to the bottom. So I've not got as much ganache as I have buttercream. Again, why I'm going to do buttercream first and then ganache. And here's our lovely cupcakes. So you can do your buttercream a number of ways. Check they're cool actually. I'll show you one. You can either just see how thick this is. Push down. See, these piping tubes are big enough, and then you can swirl. If you had a bigger piping tube, what I would do is I would literally just push it down to make a big blob. This one might work better because it's bigger. You just push down and then pull up. So that's kind of the effect we're going for. What I really would like is a bigger piping tube in this one, so I could do the same effect with the other one on top. And then I'm going to top mine with a big old orange Jaffa, so you know exactly what's in it. So these are big hard balls, the outside's orange flavour, the inside's dark chocolate. And there are my little chocolate orange Jaffa cupcakes. Hope you all enjoy. I will cut one open and eat it soon for you. Right, so after all that hard work, it's time to taste one. Let's hope they taste nice. They've definitely been a misadventure in cooking, that's for sure. They look like cupcakes. You can see the little orange bit. I'm going to take the Jaffa off because you can't cut through that. I'm going to cut one in half. So you can see all the marmalade in the bottom. I'm going to the one with not much because I don't really like it. And I'm going to try it. Very tasty. Maybe if I did it in future I would use an orange chocolate bun instead of just plain vanilla to give it that extra chocolatey hit, but it is quite nice. So I hope you enjoy my recipe. I will put it all down below for you because like I said I used 3 different recipes to make it. Enjoy. Bye for now.